Saskatchewan slashes immigration pathways after Ottawa cuts nominee slots in half. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. Today, we're diving into a dramatic shakeup that's sending shockwaves through Canada's immigration system, Saskatchewan's bold decision to slash immigration pathways following Ottawa's unexpected nominee cuts. This isn't just policy, this is real impact on jobs, families, and the future of communities across the province. Whether you're planning to immigrate, hiring for your business, or simply trying to understand where Canadian immigration is heading, you'll want to stick around. We'll walk you through who can still apply, which industries are being most affected, and how other provinces might soon follow. And by the end, we're tackling a big question: is this the end of entrepreneurship immigration in Canada? If you care about opportunity, policy, or building a life in Canada, don't miss this one. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update from Canada Chronicles. Let's get started. For years, Saskatchewan stood out as one of Canada's most proactive provinces when it came to immigration. Through the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program, it helped thousands settle and support industries across the province, especially in rural regions where population growth depends heavily on immigration. But in April 2025, things changed. The federal government cut Saskatchewan's nominee allocation in half, from 7,250 to just 3,625. This is the province's lowest allocation in over a decade. These cuts came at a time when Saskatchewan, like many regions in Canada, is facing persistent labor shortages in sectors such as agriculture, healthcare, construction, and industrial trades. In response, the province paused SINP applications for a short period. That pause created immediate uncertainty among applicants and employers. And while that pause is now lifted, the new framework is more restrictive, more targeted, and signals a sharp change in strategy. Why the federal cuts matter. This move isn't just administrative. It reflects a national shift in how Canada is managing immigration. The federal government, through Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, has placed a new condition on nominee programs: 75% of nominees must already be living in Canada on a valid temporary status. That means the majority of provincial nominations now go to people already here as temporary foreign workers, international students with post-graduation work permits, or individuals with open permits under other programs. For most applicants applying from outside Canada, the window of opportunity is closing, unless they work in very specific, in-demand occupations. This fundamentally changes the purpose of the SINP. It used to be about attracting international talent. Now, it's mostly about transitioning people already living and working in Canada into permanent residents. The temporary pause, and its political fallout. Saskatchewan's decision to pause the SINP came immediately after learning of the federal cut. While the pause only lasted a few weeks, it sent ripples through the community. Thousands of hopeful applicants were left without answers, and employers, especially in small towns, worried they'd lose out on critical staff. Deputy Premier Jim Ryder didn't hold back, blaming Ottawa for limiting the province's ability to respond to its labor demands. He emphasized the value the program has provided to employers who couldn't find Canadian citizens to fill essential roles. Meanwhile, opposition voices like Nor Burkey of the Saskatchewan New Democratic Party supported the return of the program but criticized the government's decision to pause it. Burkey said the uncertainty created panic among small businesses, many of which depend on consistent access to global labor. This back and forth has reignited a long-standing debate: who should really be in control of immigration, the federal government or the provinces? Who can still apply? The new SINP rules, explained. With the program now reopened, Saskatchewan has introduced significant rule changes. Applicants already living in Canada are now prioritized. These include international students, current workers, and others with valid temporary status who have demonstrated ties to Saskatchewan or Canadian work experience. Only a few overseas applicants still qualify. They must have offers in healthcare, agriculture, or skilled trades, fields seen as essential to provincial growth. Even then, their documentation and job offers will face more intense scrutiny. Applicants in the express entry and occupations in-demand streams must now have a valid job offer from a Saskatchewan employer to proceed. Those who apply without one will be rejected outright. The province has also capped the number of nominations certain industries can receive. The accommodation, food services, retail, and trucking industries can each receive no more than 25% of the total quota. On top of that, entire sectors like spas, salons, and non-veterinarian pet care businesses are no longer eligible to recruit through the SINP. And 3 streams have been permanently closed: the entrepreneur stream, the international graduate entrepreneur stream, and the farm owner/operator stream. The sectors hit the hardest. Industries that depend on both temporary and permanent immigrant labor are feeling the brunt of these changes. Trucking companies, for example, already face a national shortage of drivers. Saskatchewan's 25% nomination cap could further slow freight movement and raise logistics costs. The hospitality industry is facing similar pressure. Many of the province's tourism-dependent regions rely on seasonal and year-round staff recruited through immigration. Businesses warn that if access to international talent is further restricted, some may be forced to cut services or shut down altogether. The closure of business and farm owner immigration pathways is also sparking concern. These programs helped bring capital and stability to rural communities. Immigrant investors bought land, started companies, and helped sustain local economies. With these doors now shut, the province may struggle to attract new investment to its smaller towns. Winners in the new system. Who still has a shot? Not all doors are closed. In fact, for certain groups, the odds of success may have improved. International students who have graduated from Canadian institutions and now hold post-graduation work permits are ideal candidates. They meet all the key criteria, they're already in Canada, integrated into the labor force, and often have ties to the community. Temporary foreign workers, especially in agriculture, healthcare, or construction, also benefit. If they already have jobs in Saskatchewan and meet provincial criteria, their pathway to permanent residency is now clearer, albeit more competitive. Healthcare professionals and tradespeople remain highly sought after. Roles like nursing, lab technology, welding, and heavy equipment operation continue to be prioritized under the SINP. However, the reduction in nomination slots means every application faces intense scrutiny. Even well-qualified candidates may be left waiting if quotas fill quickly. Employers are scrambling to adjust. For businesses, the shift is forcing a total change in recruitment strategy. Employers are being pushed to find talent already in Canada. This means working more closely with settlement agencies, post-secondary institutions, and labor support networks. Many are now exploring labor market impact assessments to bring in temporary foreign workers, but that process is costly and often delayed. Smaller businesses, especially in rural areas, say they're being left behind due to lack of resources and bureaucratic complexity. What once was a straightforward provincial nomination process is now a fragmented system where companies must navigate federal rules, documentation challenges, and reduced access to global labor pools. Are other provinces next? A national trend in motion. Saskatchewan may be the first province to implement this type of overhaul, but it likely won't be the last. Canada's latest immigration plan confirms a shift in focus. The country still plans to welcome hundreds of thousands of new residents annually, but it's increasingly looking inward. British Columbia and Alberta have already hinted at rebalancing their nomination priorities. Ontario is expected to follow suit. As more provinces face federal pressure to nominate in Canada applicants, international candidates applying from abroad could see their options shrink even further. The strategy now revolves around retention, keeping people already here, rather than recruitment from overseas. The numbers behind the decisions. Canada now has over 2.5 million temporary residents. That includes students, foreign workers, and asylum seekers. This number has nearly tripled in 5 years. With housing prices climbing, healthcare under strain, and public infrastructure stretched thin, the federal government is looking for ways to stabilize population growth. Prioritizing applicants already living here is seen as a way to reduce pressure on public systems while rewarding people who are already contributing. But this new approach risks leaving behind those who have waited years overseas for an opportunity that may no longer exist. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. Is this the end of entrepreneurship immigration in Canada? One of the most dramatic changes in Saskatchewan's new immigration policy is the permanent cancellation of 3 major business streams. The entrepreneur, international graduate entrepreneur, and farm owner/operator categories are now closed, with no replacement in sight. These pathways didn't just bring business owners to Canada. They brought investors, farm operators, innovators, and rural revitalizers. Entrepreneurs helped keep small communities alive. Farm buyers took over aging operations. Graduate entrepreneurs brought fresh ideas from local universities. The closure signals something deeper, a step away from entrepreneur-driven immigration. Nationally, other business programs are also under pressure. The federal startup visa is facing major delays. Some provinces are quietly scaling back or freezing their entrepreneur streams. Critics argue that the process is too slow, too complicated, and not aligned with Canada's real-time economic needs. If this trend continues, business immigration could become a relic of the past. In its place, we may see an immigration model dominated by job-based pathways and employer-driven recruitment. This shift could have long-lasting consequences for Canada's brand as a destination for dreamers, doers, and builders. So what does all of this mean? Saskatchewan's new strategy marks a turning point. It reflects a broader national trend: fewer options for overseas applicants, tighter restrictions for employers, and more competition for those already in Canada. The removal of entrepreneurship pathways is especially concerning. If Canada stops welcoming innovators and investors from abroad, it may lose a vital source of economic growth and cultural diversity. These aren't just immigration updates, they're signs of a system being redefined. And it's happening right now. Thanks for watching Canada Chronicles. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and let us know your thoughts in the comments, especially if these changes affect you or your community. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the future of immigration in Canada. We'll see you in the next video.